But yeah, so you guys were definitely kind of that heroes in the moment. And that's part of where I say we have kind of a vague idea of where we can start. We don't necessarily have to pick up um, from anywhere from kind of that moment where you guys, I think it's perfectly viable for like Brannock and Longfellow to know each other and to have been in the mead hall that day, and basically seen the adventurers save the day. It's perfectly viable for you two to meet each other after the fact. So that's one of those things. Like, there's a vague, like, say, like 7 days since that has happened that you guys are in Good Mead during the latter half of Shay. And then after that, Shay the First is where Carvath will officially be retiring because the election is basically on Shay the 30th. Or my bad, Tarsak the First is when Carvath is like officially retired, because the election is on the 30th, and by doing that, you basically win the election.
Yeah, so I was thinking, so Brannick, I was thinking would have been in the tavern, so he would have seen this happen, and then he would have been, it kind of would have piqued his curiosity, and maybe he would have spent some of the, some time after that between the tavern and the election, just trying to, kind of go about gathering some more information on this group. Um, and then Shrimp, I'm open to sort of just like brainstorming real quick some ideas on. Do you want us to like have known each other or meet within the town for the first time? I'm, you know, open to
And,
any thoughts you have.
and part of what I'm getting at is that we can narrate that meeting or we can role play it. That's part of what I mean. Is there's a lot of room for us to make that decision, um, wherever we would like.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like I'll say I was uh, on my way through the town, getting to the tavern. Um, I saw everything go down. And I saw how you guys handled it, and it kind of piqued my interest.
So I think maybe under that idea, you kind of recognize Etor as like a hero of the moment, and perhaps maybe Brannock and Longfellow are actually approaching the group at some point during that time. So at some point, it's almost like it's kind of the five of you are starting to endear one another to each other, noticing that on some level, all of you are kind of the people who are actually willing to risk themselves for this area. It's very clear after any amount of time in Icewind Dale that most of the people in 10 towns have lost hope. Many of the people in 10 towns have lost hope so far that they've fallen into like some sort of masochistic worship of Oral.
So, we, how you guys want to do it? You guys going to approach the group, uh, make conversation? Or let's do some role play. What you guys want to do?
Yeah, I feel like Brannick can. I mean, if you want to have like Etor and Luther, I guess, be in the tavern at some point or just kind of walking around town, Brannick
Oh, I
can.
100% think Brannock would talk to Carvath. I think Brannock thinks Carvath is really interesting.
Okay.
Yeah,
No,
I
I'm
want to
just
see
fucking with
that.
you.
I want to see that.
That's part of why I say it's perfectly viable for us to narrate past the meeting and the creation of the new party. But it is one of the funniest moments of any D&D game where you force somebody to talk to themselves.
Well,
And you well
actually,
know, Justin, that I absolutely hate having an NPC talk to an NPC.
Oh yeah, yeah. I mean, I'm happy to play Carvath if like we come back to Good Mead and we need to have like an interaction with him. But yeah,
so if we are meeting at the tavern, you guys talk to Ettore and Luther and offer selves to join the group. That's how it starts. But we need to decide what we're going to be doing next.
Yeah, so like if you guys meet in the tavern, in the mead hall, of Good Mead, I moved you guys over there, but my screen is not there right now. If you meet yourselves or meet each other inside of the tavern, mead hall, you certainly have plenty of time to get a lot of ideas kind of shared between each other. It would definitely be the type of thing where you guys could catch Brannon or Brannick and Longfellow up on kind of the happenings that you've already experienced in 10 Towns. That basically includes, I think I just shared the party notes, so everybody should have got that pop up.
Yeah.
Yep.
So that kind of gives you all like at least the kind of current state of information that in general like this party has. But on some level, you guys are understanding of the fact that Caer Konig is the most recent thing that you've heard of. You know at least a little bit about the ferry being some sort of issue over in East Haven, which you were close to. You all are vaguely aware of what is going on with the Winter Wolves for Dugan's Hole, that is close to you, but those were quite a formidable foe already. And then this party in particular has not yet gone to Lonely Wood, but basically almost the whole western side of Icewind Dale you've currently like not really explored at all.
So, guys, I think we have two good options to explore. I think Lonely Wood is an option. We are a bit stronger, right, Justin? But I think we should go to Caer Konig.
Yeah. So Brannick's interest would definitely have been kind of piqued about once he learned from like Etor and the others about what was going on in Caer Konig. Um, so he would Brannick would be kind of like when Etor suggests that, Brannick would agree that that sounds like a good place to head next.
Yeah, I mean, I'm the same. After seeing how that was handled, I'm gonna stick around and tag along.
So, Luther and Hector decide to keep their travel towards Caer Konig, and they are joined by Brannick, that Hector doesn't know well, but seems to be honest, and Longfellow, that seems to know a bit about walking in the woods and look like a very capable man. So Luther and Hector agree to to join them. So I think we should go to Caer Konig. I think that is a situation that could lose our abilities.
So Brannick is maybe an inch or two above 6 feet. It's kind of hard to tell under the uh, bulk of like the winter clothing how kind of his build, but it seems like maybe he's a rather thin. At some point while they were kind of like in the tavern and stuff, he would have taken the hood and stuff down. So he's got long, pretty thick black hair, kind of down to his shoulders. He's got kind of ice blue eyes, kind of calculating, a little cold maybe. His skin is fair, almost kind of going to pale. He doesn't seem to carry. He's got a dagger on that he carries on his belt, but aside from that, you don't really see any other weapons. on him. He's got a a backpack with kind of uh, some rope on the side. Kind of pretty much any sort of adventurer would be wearing. Um, yeah, I guess that's about it for in terms of like its physical description.
Yeah,
Okay,
and oh, go ahead.
go ahead, Longfellow.
Yeah, my guy, I'm about 5'11", really kind of skinny, but I look like, I'm still relatively in shape. Um, Pretty dark, kind of patched together, dark brown leather armor. Um, I have the two short swords going on either side. My bow on my back with the quiver as well. Um, when I come in from outside, I'm kind of wrapped up. I have a thick scarf going across my face and a hood. Uh, Take the hood down. My hair is pretty much uh, really close shaven. Um, Got a short but thick brown beard. Kind of squinty brown eyes. Um, I look a little bit standoffish, but I'm not. I try not to be too aggressive when I first meet.
Okay, I think it's a good description. So both of you have plans, or do you want to follow us to Caer Konig?
Wait, can you
Uh,
describe yourself as well for them, Ether?
yeah, I was gonna say. I mean, I know what Ether looks like, but this
All
is a
right,
first session. Yeah.
you're right. Uh, Vitor is a relatively young man. I think he's in his 30s. He has, without his winter clothes, he's has brown hair. He's uh, more or less a little, not much too tall, but he's a medium build. He has very uh, paranoid way to look at our people. He's not very trustful, but he believes in that people has good in them. But he's a bit naive.
So, just to set a few more things for you, just as a kind of general reminder, um, most of the places you all are going to go here, most of the people that you are going to see here, are almost entirely lacking in windows. Almost everything is very shut up and closed off homes. Um, there's little warmth to be had in most of these locations. When you go inside, you are still cold to the bones. The average temperature here is about negative 40 degrees. I believe negative 43 degrees is when Celsius and Fahrenheit reconnect and are the same temperature. This is the type of place where you are freezing and dying at every moment, at all times. There's been no sun for ages. When it is light out, it is a kind of dusky condition where there's an aurora overhead during the day. And then at nighttime, it actually can get brighter depending on where the moon is in its phase. You all would have recently gone through Good Mead. They sacrifice heat to Oral. So the last evening, you all went without heat inside of all of these homes, inside of the mead hall, and inside of the barracks where the players have been staying here. So, in particular, it was a cold night. Um, in general, the cold weather clothing that everybody has, you don't suffer for it. It kind of mitigates that point. But among things to remember is that this is very much horrendous Arctic conditions here.
So I think think Ettore was going to talk to Wernick, ask him, you don't seem like you are from here, I mean, North. So, what do you know about the situation here in town, 10 towns?
You're very perceptive. I'm not originally from these parts, though I've spent enough time up here now that I have been able to put together a bit of what's going on with Oral and the aura. Um, and of course, what you've shared with me these past few days about what's going on in a few of these places.
Yes, the
I
things are not easy for these people. We are trying to help.
Yes, I hail from Luskin originally.
Yeah, I came from south too. I'm not from around here. Actually, for a while I didn't know where I was. It's a long story.
And how about you, Longfellow?
I'm from down south, a ways down south. Had some family problems and needed to kind of skip town for the time being. Ended up here and just saw how things were and just trying to make it a little bit easier for everybody.
That's very good. So you are in the right group because we are trying to help, and we got. It was good to help people here in Good Mead, and I'm sorry we are losing our friend, but he made a decision that probably will improve the lives of the people here and his own life. But we should decide if you what's our next steps. I think we should keep helping people as much as you can. But I know we can't work for free, so let's try to find a good balance between making some money and help people that I don't care how much money we do. But I'm sure you guys need money as much as I do.
Yeah,
I
we'll
will-
need to gather some money and supplies for sure before we make any bigger moves.
In my experience, I've found that wherever there is risk, there tends to be reward. I'm not too worried.
So we heard about I told you guys about the humors in Caer Konig. Do you think do you want to check it out, see if they need our help, or do you want to go somewhere else?
I think that could be a good idea. Um, if these people are being, terrorized, I think we should help them. And to be totally honest, I like the money too.
This Caer Konig seems as good a place as any to head next.
So it's settled. We travel to Caer Konig as soon as the weather permits.
Sounds good.
Sounds good.
Gerald, TM, what time is it exactly? It's morning. Is after? What time is it? What making this conversation?
What time do you guys want to have this conversation? That's part of my whole point about this is you guys can start this whole session here. It's up to you.
So I think we talk about all this in the days before the election, and when Carvalho get the position, we leave early in the morning to Konig.
Yeah, that sounds good to me.
Yep.
And
So yeah,
how many days is it until this election again?
that again is a very moot point. if you guys are having this conversation like immediately after the heist, 7 days if you wanted a lot of days. If you wanted it shorter days, it's really very, very open how everything happens here. So if you want a shorter or a longer period of time before Carvath is actually elected, it's all very open to how you guys play it out.
I think we should make shorts and get the road as soon as we can. What do you guys think?
Yeah, sounds good.
So
Yep.
we start early. Yeah, it's like after the election, I suppose.
Yeah, the next day or it's
Yep.
Yeah. So, among things, I did want to actually check with Longfellow on one of your choices about your characters. I know last night, like how we were talking about it, I said that there's desert tundra. In the actual language of a ranger, it might have been better to call that the Arctic. But I saw you chose mountains. I'm not saying mountains are not a bad choice. You guys are right next to the spine of the world, and there's a massive mountain that is like central in this campaign. But I just wanted to confirm that you want to stick with that.
Yeah, I'm gonna stick with it.
Gotcha. So yeah, overall, you guys can head out whenever you are ready. Effectively, I would usually put you at an early start to your day, is leaving about 8 a.m. But for what it's worth, if you guys wanted to get an even earlier start, you can most certainly leave Good Mead before that.
I'm
Like
up early anyways, so I'm ready whenever you guys are.
now, I think it's a good time, and we can start moving towards our next objective.
yeah, I mean eight sounds good to me.
Yeah, sure.
So we get moving. As soon we get we say goodbye to Carvath and leave Good Mead.
Yep. And as we're sort of leaving the town and starting out, Brannick will go ahead and cast Mage Armor on himself.
Okay, so GM, I think we moving. I think north. Take the east way exit of the town.
So while you all start to head off, it is not a long travel to make your way back towards the east way. Basically, it is a short travel north along a vague trail, and you're kind of coming to an actual T in the road where to the east will lead you towards East Haven, to the west will lead you towards Bryn Shindar, and then to the north will lead you towards the Caers. So you all can head off on that trip. For what it's worth, though, let me still get a survival from Etor and Longfellow. Excellent. And just to cover that for you, Shrimp, when you're looking at that, if you go to your actual character sheet, um, in that kind of like central position, you should see all of those skills. I'm pretty sure your survival's a +5, but it's down towards the bottom. If you hover over survival, it'll show you a little red die, and beyond 20 should roll that for you if you click the red die. But heading off, you all are able to trek well along the trail. In general, everything goes pretty well, pretty easy for that first little bit. Finding your way towards the east way. There's certainly heavy winds. There's certainly snow being picked up in the actual winds. But for quite a bit of the actual travel, you are going to find yourselves in some of the more pleasant weather that the Icewind Dale has to kind of offer. There's no snow falling at present, and overall, it's a nice, warm, -35 degrees today. But as you two continue to lead yourselves off into the north, let me get another survival from y'all. My bad, coughing. So yeah, as you all continue to push north along, it's a little bit more proper of a trail. It is definitely not as nice as the actual path of the Eastway, but it's definitely a good solid hard pack compared to the trail that leads from Good Mead towards the Eastway. But heading on to the north, you have Lake Dineshire in view to the east of you. It's not extremely close by, but it's definitely within view that you can see the actual like smooth, flat top of the ice that is frozen over. Probably from what you could understand is about a quarter, if not more, of Lake Dineshire north of East Haven. But definitely for this portion of time, you're really looking off over the lake and seeing little more than frozen ice. But everything progresses pretty simply there. And do another check for me. Oh, I thought I had you with that 7, but Etor in for the win. So as you guys push a little bit more into a solid part through your day, having traveled for a few hours here, there's signs of snow picking up. The wind is picking up, and the actual wind speeds are closer to like 30 miles an hour at this point. Things are picking up, and it's getting a little bit more of a solid this is more traditionally what you expect out of Icewind Dale weather. As the day kind of goes by, there's more time where snowfall is actually blocking your view of the aurora overhead. At times, you can see Lake Dineshire. There's definitely a larger portion of like an embankment that kind of covers the actual edge of the lake, so you can see a little bit more properly where it actually finishes, because that's where your view is kind of getting cut off, is at that shoreline of Lake Dineshire. You are starting to see the climb of the mountains off to the west of you that kind of form at least what Etor knows is the Valley of the Dwarves. So you're kind of like right between those two terrain features. And I think on some level at this point, you all are going to start to see that there's sign of animal travel here in this area. In particular, I think, let me get an investigation from Brannick. And then I feel like you probably still have a good animal handling, but like a wisdom or just animal handling from Longfellow. I wonder if I'm thinking of the wrong skill there. So as you all are pushing forward on this one, you're starting to see signs of canine tracks in this area. Looking over it, there's... Ooh, do you have the skill yet where you identify the number? All right, I don't think you have it yet. My bad. So you're seeing signs that there are canines in this area. They seem to be encircling the actual trail, and you're kind of crossing this path that seems to be coming off of the lake and crossing the direction that you are currently traveling, as they seem to be heading off to the west.
Well, in the map, where is exactly we could be? Just to make an idea of where we are.
Well, I mean, you guys are heading from Good Mead to Lake Dineshire, or to Caer Dineval.
So we are in the way. We are near. We can't see Caer Dineval yet.
You cannot see Caer Dineval right now.
Okay, just to know more or less the distance.
You guys have a full day's travel to get to Caer Dineval.
Okay.
Yeah, I get the idea like we're kind of near sort of where those mountains start, like kind of.
Yeah, it sounds about right.
Yeah, like I mean, if you guys want me to mark where you're at, let me get an intelligence from you. Just everybody can do that.
Intelligence check or just a roll?
Intelligence check. You guys are probably just around that area.
Okay. Just okay. So we have tracks that cross our way. I think we keep push on. We don't stop.
Yeah, I say we just keep going at the same pace. We'll keep an eye on them though.
Yeah. Let's avoid the ambush if we can.
So when you are ready to go, let me get another survival from Etor and Longfellow.
Let's go.
And then for what it's worth, Brannick, let me get a perception from you at disadvantage. Yeah, so you all are able to push on with good travel here. You're making good speed. You're making progress towards what you expect to be Caer Dineval. You are quite often traveling in the blind here with little more than maybe 60 or 80 feet of vision ahead of you. But at times you are still actually getting open glances of some of those major locations around you, looking into Lake Dineshire and starting to see some of the actual same kind of landmarks, basically in breaks of the storm itself. But you can continue with another set of survivals here. And then my bad, like another perception as well from you, Brandon. I'm assuming with those first initial signs of the canines, you're keeping a little bit better of a watch.
Yeah, I guess it would be trying to see if I see any signs of being followed or. Yeah.
In particular, if you think you are more interested in being followed and keeping that idea, we can definitely keep that in mind. But in general, like, these are hour-long tests, so it's far more like how vigilant you are staying across the whole time, rather than necessarily like, unless very specifically you wanted to focus your attention behind you. This is a pretty broad spectrum of keeping an idea or an eye on yourselves.
Yeah, more like just sort of like, every so often kind of like, taking a look behind, that sort of thing.
Yeah, I don't think we've seen any real indications that we've been followed, but I wouldn't rule it out.
Yeah, we don't know how many they are yet. Well, I think we keep going, but let's be careful.
Yeah.
Alrighty, so pushing forward here, you all are still making pretty solid progress here. The storm itself is picking up, and things are becoming more difficult. You still are not having any trouble finding in those breaks in the actual storm, where some landmarks around you are. And you have a pretty solid understanding that at some level, you can always kind of head east and almost follow that bit of a berm from Lake Dineshire to find your way there to Caer Dineval, and at present, everything is going pretty well. Brannick, looking around, you're getting good views here and there out into the actual wilderness. And from what you can tell, in any given direction, when the snow kind of breaks, you're not seeing anything in those long distances. Everything is going pretty good, and hopefully you cross the trail that you won't have to cross again. But you guys can do another round of rolls for me. So the weather on this one picks up a little bit stronger. Longfellow really kind of pushes through, keeping a solid feel for the actual berm of the snow from Lake Dineshire off to his east. You guys are getting odd swirls from the actual lake. It's enough that you can gain that idea that perhaps the lake around this area, or somewhere off in the center perhaps, is not actually fully frozen. It's still creating a little bit more different kind of weather effects. But overall, pushing forward, you have a pretty solid idea that you are within a few hours of Caer Dineval. At any given point here, it might be visible in big openings in the snow, but at present you've not actually seen any of those yet. But let me get another set of rolls from you all here. All right, so pushing forward on this one, there's a lot less for Brannick to see. You're definitely not getting good visions of anything. In the long run, you guys are kind of looking off. Ethor is starting to lose his ability to kind of track this trail. Longfellow, though, is doing pretty good at kind of blocking a lot of the actual conditions so he can get a little bit better signs. And shortly before you all hear Longfellow is going to spot some more of these canine tracks just off of the trail from you all to the west. And with that, you have a idea that you guys are being predated upon. I'd like you to place yourselves on the map, assuming that Etor and Longfellow are kind of leading the initial push north, and Brannick would be following. And this is going to be one of those places where if you go into that same journal, Shrimp, and look under characters, if you just drag yourself off of that by the name Longfellow, you can drop your icon on the map. So how would you guys like to be placed? Right now you're in kind of a drawn off line, and you are currently moving to the north.
North. So I think I would be here, traveling north.
Yeah, I wouldn't be too far behind them, maybe more like 10 feet, but I would definitely be behind those two as they're kind of leading the I'm letting them take lead on the tracks and stuff.
Yeah, I'm a little bit closer to the lake, so I'm trying to keep the kind of the coast in my sight.
We can, by the sound, try to identify what kind of, if there are wolf or anything not as normal or anything like that.
Yeah, if I
You
can
don't have
try
to wait. You
see
guys are
what's
about to find out.
Too late.
All right.
You guys can select your tokens and roll for initiative.
Very funny. Uh, well, I think Brannick has the highest dex.
Yeah, he's a 16 or a 17. Sorry, this is like a crazy matching game trying to apply their initiative to which one. So, looking like it is going to start off with Brannick. And this would be where, though you guys currently don't have a sight on things, you can try to basically use your action to figure out what it is. You can figure out where they're coming from, but that's kind of where you're at here, is you have that understanding that you are now being attacked, and you're kind of reacting a little bit quicker than the attack is incoming. And this is one of those things, like, you can hold your action to try to do something. You can try to do something to give you more information on how to react once it happens. What would you like to do, Brad?
Yeah, so Brannick, hearing these kind of strange howls or sounds, is going to try to sort of I guess Longfellow, having presumably made some sort of like indication that they were being tracked, he's going to try and do what he can to try to pinpoint exactly where these sounds are coming from, if he can, like kind of trying to cut out like the wind and try to pinpoint where these things are coming from, so that hopefully he can, if he can learn anything, he can share it with the others so they'll be a little more ready.
So give me a perception.
Nice.
And is this within the 8 hours since he would have cast Mage Armor the first time?
Yeah, I've got you guys. Again, this is kind of meta knowledge, but as far as knowing where your mage armor is, like, you know when a spell's about to wear off of you. I don't necessarily think that you know that you are 6 hours into it, but you guys are currently 6 hours into this travel period and have 2 more hours to go, to what you expect. You expect to be able to get to Caer Dineval before your mage armor will wear off.
Okay. I mean, like, going forward, you want me to just kind of wait and let you tell me when it wears off?
On some level, I track those things, but it's perfectly fine for you to actually ask, if you have any idea about it. I don't think that's wrong in the least bit. No.
Okay, yeah, more just because since we're going to be in combat, you know.
Yeah, and in general, like, I'm not trying to punish you for having mage armor. It's definitely one of those things where I think you have a solid understanding, um, that it's there if it's there. And, like, if you're approaching combat, it would be the type of thing. If I know you don't have mage armor, when I describe kind of how I just described this for you, part of what I would say is, like, you sense these things are incoming, and you also know that your mage armor has worn off. So it would be that idea to say, like, this is your chance before shit hits the fan to apply your armor again.
Makes sense.
So let's see. You got that 17 is from this one. Oh, I need timestamps on this.
Yep, that 17 was the perception for this round, this action.
Gotcha. So fuck. I just screwed myself up. I had them rolled for something that I shouldn't have broken up yet. Fuck, that was a mistake. Give me a second. I have to test something first before I can actually give you this answer. My apologies. That was a mistake on my part.
No worries.
So, since the DM is getting something done, I think strategic. We can talk strategy if you guys want.
This is like campfire strategy. This is part of why I wanted you guys to have that extra time in town before. You guys can talk basic strategy. Don't talk strategy about this fight.
No, just basic. Considering that my character is theoretically to soak damage, I think he probably going to increase his DC to help. I don't know about you guys.
I mean, that's also meta way of talking to it. Just say you're tough as fuck. You're going to try to take as much damage as you can.
Sorry. I'm going to try to get the guys, whatever they are, right on. You guys have to stay behind and help me uh, as much you can.
Yeah, I prefer to stay as far away physically from getting into hand-to-hand combat as I can. So I'm gonna try to hang back and um, not get too close, but still be useful from far away.
Yeah, I'm trying to make them stay near me, and you guys try to get them as much you can, and I will try to keep up as much I can.
Yeah, given you've only ever seen Brannick carrying a dagger, it's probably pretty clear that he's not a frontline fighter.
Well, probably Ethor saw him doing the magic armor because Caravath did the same, so probably deduced that Brannick is a magic user. The only thing I'm worried, and I don't know how many they are.
It's definitely a concern.
If we get overwhelmed, it's something that I got any warrior doesn't want to.
So, one thing I did not hear you guys say to each other: focus, fire, kill shit. Don't hurt new shit, kill shit.
I think it's common sense that we need to put down as fast as you can.
Common sense and what people do are two completely different things. Kill shit. If somebody attacks something and it's alive and it's your turn, kill it. That is the biggest thing to staying alive, especially on um, low level adventuring.
For the most part, I'm fine to shoot first and ask questions later.
So I think most of what you're going to pick up is creatures coming from the west, Brennick. You've 17's pretty good. You've got a pretty good sense that you have creatures coming from um, like 3 different points in the west and from like the southeast of you. Like you guys are already surrounded.
Yeah, so Brannick would relay that information to the others as much as he can within the, few seconds that he has.
So with that in mind, are you going to be moving at all? Right now, you also have a pretty good idea that you're kind of the first target that a lot of creatures might get to.
Yeah, that's a good point. I think I would, sort of sensing the general location, I would kind of back myself up, trying to essentially get behind the others.
And then if you are good, it will go to Etor.
Yep, that's it for me.
I'm gonna turn to the side where most of them are coming, as much Brennick told me. I'm gonna cast Shield of Faith on myself and be ready. I'm just gonna move a bit here. That's my turn.
You never saw that one. So as you all see, oh damn it, I moved 2 extra ones as well. It's too soon for those two. So as you see the first of these creatures to kind of show themselves, they are coming from the southeast of you and the southwest of you, and basically running forward. You are going to see humanoids, starkly starving. You see very gaunt forms. Bones are poking out of their flesh from absolute emaciation. These are, at this point, actually, let me get let's get a history check from all three of you. You've all got perception. This is going to be that first moment where you all recognize that these are most certainly humans or humanoids rather than actual animals. They hunt in packs like animals. They are very ferocious creatures, and in many senses, they have kind of demonic origins, where they are kind of the leftovers of more ancient times where gods roamed the earth. And these are gnolls. These are hyena-like humanoids. And basically, right now, you see as these creatures are running forward, they look like canines who are standing up on their hind legs. They're each carrying spears, and you can just see as their mouths are frothing as they run towards you. And it's going to go to Longfellow.
All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and move. I'm gonna go ahead and put myself right there, and I want to try to see if we can get a sense specifically of how many there are around.
At this point, if you want to get more knowledge, it's going to cost you an action. And I'm just going to throw it out there that your first turn in combat is where you are heavily weighted. You need to be shooting your bow.
Okay, so I'm gonna.
Otherwise, if you want to use your action, on some level, it is to warn them that it's time for you guys to run.
Okay, so yeah, I'm just gonna go ahead. I'm going to Hunter's Mark, the one I see to the south.
So I think he's got a wisdom save for Hunter. If you click on the top left of it, it should say like display on VTT. No, it's just automatic. Yep. All right. So yeah, you've got Hunter's Mark on that one.
And do we see what equipment, like, do these things have any weapons, shields?
I told you they have a spear.
Okay. I'm just gonna try to put one through this guy's chest down here.
Pulling back, you have a solid hit. You will apply an extra D8 and an extra D6 to that damage. On your first turn in combat, you've got that, I think it's Dread Ambusher that does the extra D8. And then with Hunter's Mark, you have the extra D6.
All right.
So yeah, you're going to place one arrow into him. It's still standing and still charging forward, and you've got one more shot on your first turn in combat.
I'm gonna try to hit him in one of his legs.
There's really not called shots as far as things go,
Okay.
like in 5th edition.
Okay.
If I ever ask you, like, how do you want to do this, that's where you can kind of describe, like, how you actually make the kill happen.
Okay. I'll just try to put another one. Just try to hit him with another.
With an idea of how you are going to attack it, it's a little bit more aware, and it's pretty deft at deflecting away your arrow as it charges forward into you. So if you are good at present, I think that's all set, and it's going to move on.
Yeah, I'm good.
So that's where two more of these creatures are going to be running up out of the southwest and kind of covering some of the ground towards Etor. And it's going to go to Brannick.
All right, so Brennick's going to, like, nice shot, Longfellow, and then he's going to go ahead and cast a magic missile and try to at the same knoll to his south, and a pile on. Oh, sorry, I didn't mean to cast at a second level. That was a first level.
Gotcha. Yeah. Burn the first level. Make sure to cast it 3 times. Yep. So 3, 3, and the last one.
So it's 9, looks like.
So that is going to leave this one. It's bloodied at this point. You can see where the magic missiles have almost like torn off large chunks of flesh from its sides.
All right, and he'll keep backing up about 10 more feet, and that will be it for him this turn.
Gotcha. And it's going to go to Etor.
Okay, so I'm thinking I have to keep them as far as from you as you can. So I'm casting as a bonus action. Uh, sorry, I was trying to cast a compel duel. Uh, as a bonus action.
If you cast Compel Duel, you are going to drop Shield of Faith.
Ah, you're right. No, so never mind. I better say one attack. Just a simple attack at the this one.
I have 3 screens. I was not looking when you said this one. Southwest of you,
Sorry.
or the one
Sorry.
that's injured?
Now, if
All
I
right, you
move,
can make an attack.
if I move, they have a attack opportunity on me, right? So I'm gonna attack. I'm gonna avoid that. And attack this one here. Then closer.
What's your
south.
AC?
Uh,
Aren't you an AC build?
Yeah, 20.
So move. Go protect your friends. You have 20 AC. Use it.
Okay. So I'm moving this way here.
It's gonna swing out at you.
Okay.
And I have it on Whisper, but it was a 15. It's gonna be a 19, which misses you. Your AC is built for you to provoke opportunity attacks.
You're right. I'm gonna move this way. I'm gonna attack this guy that is already blooded.
Solid strike. Anything else from you?
Let me see if I have some bonus action I can actually use. As a channel divinity is a spell gem. I'm not very.
You have to look at which one you're going to use because technically channel divinity is neither. Yeah, so that one's a bonus action.
So I'm gonna use this one on me to help focus the enemy on me.
So if you attack that one and you're just going with the Morning Star, I was waiting to see if you were going to smite it. You are going to smash it and actually kill it. So you don't have to channel divinity if you don't want to at that point. That creature is taken care of.
I can still move.
Yep, I think you've used 15 feet.
So I'm gonna move this way, and I think I should try to use the champion talent to keep the others on me and on the rest of the party. So I'm using champion challenge on these guys approaching me. At least these the ones that are 30 feet of me.
So you're going to see as the 2 closest creatures to you are locking eyes with you. And it feels pretty successful that you've got their hatred.
Great, that helps. That's my action. That's my turn, I mean.
So one's going to charge up to you, and as it kind of leaps into the air, try to bring its spear down from above, and you are able to just deflect it off of your armor. Longfellow, what would you like to do?
I'm going to go ahead and move right up here, and I'm gonna try to hit the one that just attacked him.
Gotcha. On that one, it's going to be able to do the same as it kind of like moves out of the way and deflects the arrow right off of it.
Right, and I think that's pretty much it.
Another one is going to leap out at you, and as you deflect the attack from the other one, it's just going to bring its spear down right where you were just standing. This one is going to come out, reach up at Ethior, and it is going to be able to get its spear into you as it kind of circles around you. And it is going to pierce through for 7 piercing damage into you.
Okay.
Make a concentration check for me.
Which one I roll? I don't remember.
It's Constitution saving throw.
Okay.
That is a success. One more is going to run around as it circles in behind you. It's going to try to spear for you and just deflects right off of your armor. And it's going to go back around to Brannick.
All right, so Brannick, seeing Ator being surrounded, he's going to move up. And I think from there I can hit these two with a burning hands. I'm going to essentially holding his hands out. Holding his hands out, he sort of says like a couple words, and this like sort of sheets of fire come out, and like kind of just as they're kind of almost maybe going to reach Etor, they kind of die out, so they just catch those two knolls.
So I feel like that's the 3x3 of burning hands. You'd have to be standing kind of right next to the combat. Oh wait! I think I might have missed. You're thinking like that?
So, yeah, exactly.
I gotcha. They got a dexterity saving throw on burning hands.
Yeah. Let me just cast it real quick. Yep, dexterity, and I think it's a half damage on a failed save or successful save. Sorry.
Yeah, so you'll see as one is able to kind of like leap almost towards Longfellow a little bit as the flame starts to come out, and the other is going to take the full brunt of that. And let's see, 7 and 14. Give me a second here to get these guys set, and then unless you have anything else, it will go to Etor.
Yep, I'm just going to move back a little bit after casting the spell.
Gotcha.
And that's it for me.
Question: which one got the most? Burned more?
You can do a perception check. I feel like for you to figure it out, you're going to have to do... Wait, let me actually roll its hit points first so I know if it's actually bloodied. That's where it'll actually be. The one in the south is currently scarred with much worse burn marks.
Okay, so I'm gonna attack the guy that the fur is burning more. I'm gonna make a attack. If successful, I would like to divine smite.
If you're successful, you can tell me that you want a divine smite. You don't have to decide beforehand.
Okay. Never mind.
Do you have anything else that you would like to go for?
I have nothing else to do.
The one to the west of you is going to try to bring his spear up through your armor, and it's just going to kind of hit right into the main chest piece and get deflected off of that breast piece. And I think that's going to take it too long.
All right, I'm gonna go ahead and move behind this guy over here and try to put my short sword through him.
So when you have your bow out, you can drop your bow and use a free action to pull a short sword, but you won't be able to do anything with your second one unless you use your action to pull your second short sword. Right now, by having your bow out, you're pretty pot committed on the bow. If you start to move to the short sword, you're going to be dropping your long bow if you want to do anything this turn. So when you move away from that one that was close to you, he's actually going to be kind of redirecting his swing at Etor. As you move away, he's going to try to spear back at you. And you're able to kind of leap away from it. You've removed yourself from that combat. What would you like to do?
I'm gonna take a shot at the guy who just swung at me.
Nice.
Yeah, and you could have used your bonus action to mark him. So I would say you might as well go for that as well. So right now, roll the damage. Anytime you roll and there's like it doesn't show the damage, please roll the damage as soon as possible, but also roll 2d6.
If you just hit that where it says longbow, that should roll the damage for you. And roll 20.
That's double, right?
Yep, the 2d6 is for the crit right now. That's his hunter's mark. So if you click the longbow and roll 20, where it says it in pink, that's going to roll the twice damage.
Got it.
So how do you kill that one?
It just goes right directly through his chest.
Gotcha. So as he kind of spins on you, you're able to aim kind of right into its breastbone, and you just hear a tremendous crack as its sternum splits with your arrow through its chest. Anything else from you? Any other movement?
I'm just gonna hang out here.
So southwest of Etor, another one is going to try to spear into him, and it's just going to kind of connect with some armor. And then one more is going to leap and try to strike at him from behind, and is going to miss. I think that's still going to deflect off of his armor, and it's going to go for Brannick.
Right. So Brannick is going to try to firebolt the one to Etor's right, to his east. Try to add to its burns. Yeah, that misses, and that's my. I'll back up a little bit more, and that's my turn.
And on to Etor.
I still attack the same guy the last turn. This one.
I need cardinal directions. Which one is this one?
I'm sorry.
East of you?
East. I'm sorry.
Gotcha.
Sometimes I mix. Uh, I'm not that fast to remember cardinal directions in English. Yes, east.
He's going to be able to just step aside from that attack.
I stay here. My turn. It's done.
The next of the creatures still on you, compelled in the duel, is going to strike out with your spear with a 17 to hit.
Nope.
One is going to be running up from the southeast. As it looks down at Brannock, it is going to close the distance to him, and then it's going to go to Longfellow.
All right. I'm gonna mark the one that just ran up on him and take a shot.
On Brannock?
Yes.
I think you are clicking the wrong part of the longbow.
You're
Okay.
clicking the damage, not the attack.
Oh, okay. I see what happened. Hold on.
Yeah, just to the left of the attack.
Yeah, I just realized that my hotkey here is changing it.
All right, so that's going to hit. It will do 10 damage to him. Any more movement from you?
No, I'm gonna stay where I am.
From the south, you're going to see as one of these creatures walks out of the storm, and as it kind of approaches, it has just a horrendous kind of green glow about it, and it is going to kind of trot up into Etor, and it is going to exhale a horrendous green breath into the air. And it's going to approach like this, and I need a Constitution saving throw from Longfellow and Etor.
Can I give sorry.
I God.
You're trying to determine what he had?
No, I was gonna give him I forgot about the portent dice. I was gonna try and use it on that one.
Yeah, that's what I meant.
If I can use the 16.
Go for it.
Sorry, I meant to get that out before he rolled.
You almost did.
Okay, so that'll give him a 16 on the con save.
That was a good play by Justin, but he could have been quicker. So Hunter's Mark is going to drop. Other than that, you guys are going to take that damage. 11 for Longfellow, 6 on Etor.
6 or 5? I
And
think you said 6
five,
or 5?
5.
Okay, just make sure.
And then the creature southwest of you is going to try to attack. Big old clink off of your armor. Next one is dead. One behind you is going to make an attack. That's not even close to your armor. And the last one is going to run up out of the north into Longfellow, and it's going to make an attack at his back. And I think a 13 is a big old miss. I think that's a pure dex miss. So it's going to go over to Brannick.
All right, so Brannick is surprised by this thing kind of coming out right in front of him, but he's going to...
Yeah, my bad. I may not have described that one, but that one ran like all the way up out of the south.
Oh, okay. I thought it was kind of coming from like the east of me, and that's...
No, like you had a pretty good sense. Basically, I try to have as much stuff pre-rolled, so your test kind of gave you that most of the creatures were coming from the west. There was one coming from the southeast on turn 1, and then it was like turn 4, there was the guy from the north, and then 2 from the south. Or southeast, rather.
Okay.
But that's basically somebody who took the dash action to clear the ground to you.
Okay, so I am going to, kind of stealing myself with this one in my face, I am going to cast another magic missile to try to finish off the burned one to Etor's right, east.
Are you putting all 3 missiles into it?
That was the one that wasn't as badly burned, so yes.
I think he's
do a
bad.
perception check.
Okay, off character. I think this one was the most damaged.
Yeah, and that's meta knowledge. If he thinks it's the least burned, that's why I'm offering him a chance to recognize that's the one you burnt the most. It is well damaged. It's in the bloodied condition, but it's still up to you whether you want to put multiple arrows or not.
Okay, so maybe knowing that, I'm going to put 2 at him and 1 at the one right in my face.
Gotcha. He had 7 hit points. That 2 was a fuck all right there, but that 5 was exactly what you needed. So that's going to kill the one that is behind Etor, and you're going to do 4 to the one that's on you.
All right, and I'm going to not move for now, so that'll be my turn.
And it's going to be on Etor.
Okay, so I'm gonna attack the one that put that smoke, green smoke, that poison towards me. So I'm gonna attack him. The one that is a south. You know.
I got you.
Now I want to Divine Smite.
Hold up. You do in fact hit him, but I hadn't told you it hits yet. If you Divine Smite when you don't hit, that's just a waste.
Okay.
So burn it.
Now I'm lost the where I click.
You just burn a spell slot. I feel like you can just tell me what it is and roll the d8.
2d8 extra radiant damage.
So you're just burning a level 1?
Yeah.
Yep, so just roll 2d8.
So 15.
Anything else from you?
I don't have anything to do yet.
So next one's going to try to spear Etor. Big ol' miss. And then one's going to try to spear Brennick. Big ol' miss. And it's going to go to Longfellow. You've got one who just charged up from you and swung out at you from the north. And you see 3 to the southwest of you and one more up by Brennick. What would you like to do, Longfellow?
So this cloud, is it continuously damaging, or
Oh,
has
no,
it
no,
already...
that's gone. My
Okay.
bad. I just didn't switch to the layer.
Okay. I will take a shot at the one that's directly near me, right to the northwest.
So if you shoot from combat, you're going to be at disadvantage. If you step away, it might get to swing out at you, but you get to take an attack normally.
All right, I'm gonna go over here.
Gotcha. So it's going to swing out at you. I believe a 14 is a big old dex miss, so take your shot at normal. I think you could have. Oh wait, no, your hunter's mark is gone now.
Right.
So yeah, that's gonna do 6 to it. Any other movement from you?
I'm good.
Come on, Big Papa. Big guy's gonna step out of combat with you, Etor.
Attacking.
Going to be able to dodge to the side as it runs out to leap out at Longfellow with its spear. It's a big ol' miss. One from the southwest of you is going to try to spear you, Etor. Big ol' miss. That one's dead. And then the other one is going to close in. He's going to go for Brannick and try to spear into Brannick with a big old miss. On to you, Brannick. You've got one southeast and one to the west of you.
All right, so I'm going to call could use some help here, and I'm going to attempt to poison spray the one to my southeast. Hit with the one dart. And that's a con save.
And which one was this? Southeast?
Yes, yeah.
I can almost see his total health, but I think he is still not bloodied.
Yeah, I think he only took 4 from the magic missile, so.
All right, so yeah, that looks about right. I was thinking it said a number that is not near half. Almost told you how many hit points he has. But after that, it's going to go to Etor unless you would like to move.
Nope. I'm going to not looking too happy about where I am, but I'm going to stay put.
I'm going to move towards Longfellow to the guy that attacked him here. So two opportunity attacks on me.
Gotcha. Yeah, those two are going to swing out. Each of them are going to miss.
I'm going to attack the one that attacked Longfellow. That hit.
That is a hit.
I want to use Divine Smite on him.
What level?
Level 2.
Roll 3d8. He is severely bloodied after that strike.
That's
Anything else from you?
That's my turn.
He has no way out of that spell. Like, I'm just stuck attacking you forever.
I think he must roll a DC, Wisdom DC. 13, I guess. Let me put here.
Oh, that's not nearly as good as I was playing it as. It just can't move 30 feet away from you. It can attack whoever the fuck it wants.
Yeah.
Damn. I was giving you way more credit for that spell.
It does have disadvantage if it attacks somebody else, but it can attack somebody else.
Oh, okay. I might have missed that part at least. I knew it had to have something that it was the reason that it's. Where does it even say the disadvantage, though? On a failed save, a creature can't willingly move more than 30 feet away from you. That seems like the negative.
For the duration. So it says, for the duration, it has disadvantage on attack rolls against creatures other than you, and must make a wisdom saving throw each time it attempts to move to a space that is more than 30 feet away from you.
Yeah, I put here to everyone to see, and roll 20.
Oh, that's weird.
I don't see the for the duration part that says anything about disadvantage.
I think.
Oh, you know why? Because I was looking at compelled duel. Sorry.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, that's not compelled duel. That's I want everything to attack me, but it doesn't force them to. It's like you have to run away from everybody else, and they'll follow you away from everybody else. But when he's within 30 feet of Brannick, I can attack any of the three party members.
Yeah, you're right.
You're right.
Yeah, I was definitely playing that like it was compelled duel. So who's three? Three's Ethor anyway, so it's still running up to him. But that's going to strike into you with a 22, and it's going to do 7 more piercing damage to you.
Me, Etor.
Yep.
Okay.
And then yeah, it's starting to get real for the Knolls.
It's not getting any
Yeah,
easier
I
for
think
me.
it's still going to strike out at you for a 14 to hit you, Brannick. Is
With
your
mage armor,
normal
that
AC
misses.
13?
Yes, it's 13 with a mage armor.
So
It's 16.
Gotcha. Yeah, so that's going to be a big old miss, and it's going to go to Longfellow.
I'm going to move over here and take a shot at the one directly to the north.
13 is going to end up being a miss as it dodges to the side.
Can I use my second portent dice on this one to give this gnoll a 10 on its attack roll?
Wait 1 second. Do you have anything else that you're going to do, Longfellow, or are you just stopping there?
I'm good.
So hold up a second here, because that gnoll's not going to be attacking right now. He is going to. Sadly, that movement's not going to be able to get multiple people in there, but he's going to do the con save again on Etor as he blows his acid breath. So he's not doing an attack roll. It's a saving throw from Etor. You need to roll the roll slower when he's talking about doing portent. But no, you are able to save that. You will take half damage on this, and I'll need a save from you. Con save again. What is that for? 7 damage.
Yeah, sorry, I wouldn't have used it on the saving throw. So
I got you. I feel like though with his save, the 13 is actually like an automatic pass because the die roll is a 10, and you have a +3. He's got a +3, so it's still a pass. That's what I was getting at when he already had the dice rolled.
I'm sorry, DM. How much is the damage from the acid?
7 damage. And then this one is going to run into still Etor. And it's going to try to spear him. It's going to get a hit.
And I'm down.
Are you down from the acid?
No, I'm down for the spear. I had
Gotcha.
one hit point.
Yep, so it's going to do 4 to you, so that will drop him unconscious. The Shield of Faith will drop. And then it's the one over on Brannick.
I'm going to use my...
That's what you were going for? So yeah, the 10, it's got a +4. 14 is a miss on you, and it's on you.
Okay, so seeing Etor go down, I am going to, and seeing this, what I think might be their leader kind of bloodied, I am going to cast a 2nd level magic missile at the creature to Etor's south.
Gotcha. So he is severely bloodied. You can easily see that. There's no check involved with noticing that one.
Okay, so maybe I'll go still want to make sure I kill it. So I'm going to go 3 on that one and 1 on the one to my southeast. I'll do the first.
Just roll 1. Just roll 1 missile. You automatically kill the leader. And that's going to leave the one to the southeast of you. He's going to be... Wait, why is that? That's much lower than I thought. I thought he was at 21. It says 11. So he's going to be at 6 hit points. He's bloodied. I feel like it skipped bloodied. I feel like that's actually severely bloodied.
So I think I've done 7 damage to that one total.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking, that it should have been at 21. It shows 21 on like the health bar, but it shows an 11 on the counter. It just seems weird to me. I feel like he should still be at 21. So he's at 16, which is still not bloodied.
Okay, can I retcon those magic missiles, or I'm still fine if I hit 3 into the leader and just 1 on that guy?
What do you mean?
Because I have to declare all the magic missiles at the same time, because they all hit at the same time.
No, but what I mean is, what do you mean by retconning them? What are you trying to get at?
Well, you said roll 1 for the gnoll leader, but I said
I was saying if you put 3 on the gnoll leader, the one that you rolled was for the guy. Like, you automatically killed the gnoll pack leader.
Got it. Okay. Yep. Sorry, misunderstood.
Yeah, like you could have rolled 3 1s and he was still going to die from that missile. He was severely wounded.
Okay, so I just didn't need to roll again. Got it.
Yeah, the roll was for the guy the other one that you were sending a missile at.
Okay. And that is it for my turn.
Death saving throw from Etor. Oh shit, gnolls have crazy sweet stuff that they could have done.
Okay, so
Before you take that roll, actually, I'm sorry. The guy who knocked you down is going to make a bonus bite attack at you. Oh, you're gonna have two failed death saves as you go into this moment, where you
Okay.
make a death save.
Okay, so basically, is that or I'm going to die? All right.
Roll a 20. Stand up.
Yep. Let's do it. I'm dead.
That is a dead Etor.
Now I need to think of my third for this campaign.
So yeah, they are all gonna go into a rampage here, and they're all running for his body. Let's see.
It seems like a pattern for my pork paladins being
Well, it's
dragged
one of the
away in
problems
a.
of being a lone tank, is that if you only get hit on 20s, you feel like you can tank shit, but the moment shit actually hits you, because what, you took like 95% of the attacks on that.
That was the whole idea, right? I was hoping that we had a cleric that would help me to keep up, but uh, sadly, it was not this time.
So yeah, I think they are going to break from you, Brannick. Are you saving a reaction for a shield? Otherwise, when they leave you, you can do like an unarmed strike, or like if you've got a staff or something.
Yeah, so I don't have shield, so but I was thinking if they're gonna break from me, if I can just kind of draw my dagger and stab at the injured one to my southeast as it leaves.
You can't actually draw your dagger. If you have your dagger in hand, like if you don't have a reason not to have your dagger, you can have it in hand. But you can't actually draw it.
Okay, got it. No, I wouldn't have had it out because I've had to use like when I with burning hands and poison spray. I feel like I'd have, my hands free.
What's your arcane focus with that guy?
It's an orb.
Yeah, so there's no reason that you can't have like your orb and a knife in your hand. You can still do somatic skill, like somatic components like that. The orb can be material and somatic. So you can make a dagger attack there.
Okay, thanks. Yeah, that'll miss.
And then it's going to go to Longfellow.
I'm gonna take, I guess, my two shots at the guy to the north.
Etor, I've got an idea here. Taking a shot at the one to the north is going to be a big old miss. I am about to roll initiative for Luthor. If he is in between, I feel like, what is it? He's got to be between 21 and I think 10. So he's got to have like lower than 10 or higher than 21, and he would have had a chance to heal you there. I think that's going to actually put him before that creature. So let's see. I think at this point the pack is running off.
I'm sorry, I thought the leader was dead.
I don't think anybody finished him off.
Oh, I thought that my magic myth, those 3 magic
Oh,
mythos.
yeah, my bad. Nope,
yeah, I
that's
also
correct.
thought he was dead.
Yeah, I think he got 3 and basically exploded.
I got it. I make mistakes for sure. I'm not trying to say I don't make mistakes.
No worry, I'm just remember what happened. I'm just thinking which will be my next character. Already thinking about the next one.
So depending on if you guys are trying to like pick them off as they are essentially running off, you probably realistically have the last bit of view. I guess really though. Yeah, so you probably have a view on those last 3 creatures right now.
Are they all kind of dragging Etor's body between them?
You've basically seen them as they are like tearing him away from each other. If you guys thought that they were compassionate beings, you would think that they are all trying to help carry him away from danger. But you guys recognize that these are starving creatures that are in fact fighting each other for the body. And that's more why they're dragging it away right now.
Yes, I feel like Brannick would he'd like raise his hands, like almost just like preparing, getting ready to cast a spell at these things as they're going off, and then he'd kind of lower his hands and kind of decide against it and just kind of shake his head.
Longfellow, do you want to take a shot at any of them before they kind of clear away?
Nah, I don't really see a reason to keep taking shots at them at this point.
I think we're still going with the idea that the gnolls ran away. It's still going to be the 3 of you kind of there with the 4 corpses. You're still a couple hours out of Caer Dineval. You still have about a 20-foot to 30-foot or so radius of vision in this area. But as you guys kind of clean up this combat, what would you like to do?
Is the Knoll leader, is he sort of attired any better than the others, or is he very similarly kind of gaunt and emaciated and
You
just
can do a
carrying the
medicine check.
spear?
First thing first, I like to use lay your hands on myself.
Gotcha. Yeah, as you kind of look over, he doesn't look like he's especially anything. It seems like his face is a little bit deformed, and he's a little bit more cursed than some of the other ones. I think you guys did pretty good on my test to see if you recognize the gnolls. So, under the idea that most people know that gnolls are almost like a kind of demonic cursed creature that almost like perverted humans into this form. This creature in particular just seems to be more perverted.
Okay.
But physically, they're all pretty similar. They're very emaciated humans with kind of furry flesh almost.
The leader had no particular weapon or anything that made me any different for the others?
No, but as far as how they were actually like armed, they all pretty much had natural armor, and they all pretty much ran with these spears that are basically like bone tipped wood.
Okay, he was bigger than the others. Any that
I mean, physically, not really. The difference is it's one of those things like when you guys gain an extra hit die, your character doesn't become any bigger. It's actually more of a mental toughness, like a mental ability to shrug off being hurt in the heat of battle than it is that you're actually bigger.
It's almost like he's like slightly more mutated, or just like the more demonic blood coursing through it, or something that
yeah,
makes him different. We don't really know why.
yeah, I get it. I think he was no different physically, but he was probably more aggressive because he was the leader of the pack, something like that. So I think we can say that I don't know how to do math, but I think we survive.
A close call there, Etor. But perhaps we should try and make it to Caer Dineval if we can.
I don't think you can handle anything else. I use all my spells and I still hurt. I think we should move. And I think our friend Longfellow needs to heal too. I think I don't have anything to give to you anymore, Longfellow. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I have some kind of rolls for some good berries.
I think you should use it. I don't know. Gonna finding Cardival.
So good berries are a kind of unique thing. They are a filling meal. If you eat one good berry, that's like having a Thanksgiving Day like binge fest. You are very satisfied for an entire day.
Right.
Part of what is important about that is they're not like a font of healing. It's a way to heal. You can kind of pass them out as, and people can have them almost as potions. But once you have one, every single one that you try to eat afterwards, you might just puke up and get no effect from.
Okay.
So it's kind of a unique thing. It's not a bad idea to cast good berries and have them early in a day, but it's definitely not the same as a lot of other healing spells.
Just for my curiosity.
Okay.
And those are the kind of thing where, like, if somebody goes down, you could like jam a good berry
Right.
down their throat to get them up, maybe.
Yeah, effectively, if he casts Goodberry with the normal party of 4 people, he can give like 3 good berries to 2 people and 2 good berries to 2 people. So you guys have good berries on everybody, and it's the type of thing that you could run up to somebody and use your action to stuff a good berry in their mouth. And again, I will stress if they haven't eaten a good berry, they'll come up. If they have eaten a good berry, they may vomit it back out, and it won't have an effect. But the first one is always going to effectively be a 1 hit point healing potion.
Okay. Yeah, that makes sense. Then we should just get out of here then.
Let's keep going and see if I can reach the town before more of these creatures appear.
Yeah, good berries are like healing word as far as like one of those spells that makes it next to impossible to die in this game. Shit
Right.
really hits the fan, and good berries is like a get out of jail free. Because as you well know, Justin, healing potions are still magical items and they're expensive. They're not something that you can just get a hold of. And with good berries, you make them basically.
Yeah, and I would think, especially up here, like we're not going to find potion shops and.
So as you guys prepare to head back on the trail up towards Caer Dineval, let me get another round of survivals.
Do you need a perception check from me this time?
You can roll another perception.
What's the chance? I still consider dead here on Roll20.
I think inside of your character sheet, you probably have to fix something in the healing.
I already
On the
did
normal,
that. I already did that. I
it might be under condition.
Let me see. No. I was dead here in the D&D Beyond, but I put myself alive. I'm alive here, but I still dead on the Roll20. Let me see here.
It
I'm
may
gonna
just be having to like reload the actual
I'm gonna
virtual
leave and come
tabletop.
back. Yeah, I'm gonna leave and come back. Just a second.
But you guys can push forward. Moving on, I think you're going to start to see some of the first signs of Caer Dineval ahead. You're actually going to see, as there's kind of like a point or promontory up ahead where you see a castle on kind of this bluff overlooking the lake. I think your perception's probably a little bit too low there, but I think maybe with their survivals, you see like the first signs through the snow that Caer Dineval is like approached kind of from like the southwest, and it almost curves around this area like a crescent, and the top part of the crescent kind of hooks back around and down, and the whole time it kind of climbs up into this hill where the cairn. I'm still dead. Cairn
Still
is
dead.
at the top of it, and you'll see the castle. But you guys are approaching the area. There's still a lot of time where you can't see that far. But if you can do another round of survivals for me, and you can do another perception as well. Yeah. So definitely removed all of the getting lost and shit with that one. So yeah, you guys are going to be approaching Caer Dineval. It's it's been a long day. You started early. You're getting in early still. You have a good sense that um, a good chunk of the day has passed. You expected this journey to take about 8 hours, so you have a pretty good sense that it's probably about that midday, like 4 o'clock ish. Without any good way to tell, it's hard to predict. Looking into the town as you do approach, you see Caer Dineval has probably about a third of the houses actually have smoke rising from their chimneys. Many of them are certainly abandoned. Um, in general, you are going to be coming from that kind of southwestern pass there, where it says to the eastway. You can kind of knock on a door. You can just pick a place to go. You can head towards the castle. You certainly have a lot of options. As far as letting Shrimp know, I prefer to just post the actual ones that say everything, with the understanding that you guys don't technically know what everything is until you actually ask about it. But I like these because they're much cleaner once you actually know what's in town, and it's so much easier than like switching the actual map of the town once you get there.
Yes, I think as we're coming in, Brannick would essentially pick one of the first houses he sees where you can see smoke rising and go to knock on the door.
So it's going to be a few minutes before you get any sort of response from the door itself. But eventually you're going to hear from the outside. And again, this is another one of those towns where they don't have windows. These are very boarded up Arctic homes. Many of them are buried easily, like up to kind of like a halfway to the actual roof. You could almost like walk onto any given roof in a lot of these homes in Icewind Dale, and they have paths carved into their actual doors. Um, this one in particular, it's got a little bit more snow leading up to the door, so you're almost going to like step into this house, like step down into it if somebody opens the door. But you'll hear from within as somebody kind of yells out, "Oh, well, who's there? What do you need?"
Travelers, can you direct us? Is there an inn in this place?
Uh, one moment. And you're just going to hear as there's like a few sounds of like clicking and clacking, locks open. The door's open. Come quick. Keep the cold out. Quick, quick. Shut the door behind you.
Okay, so assuming the others will be coming in behind me, I
Of
will.
course, I follow.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I'll kind of wait for them to get close so we can kind of do as the voice says and kind of open the door, come inside, and then Brannick would be careful to close it behind them afterwards.
So as you enter, you're going to see somebody who's like layered over in blankets. They seem to be kind of like an older figure, just from like your initial feel. This person's almost like hunched over, like the weight of the blankets is kind of dragging them down. And you'll eventually see as they kind of like pull their head up a little bit and see that it's like a old lady, like, you know, very wrinkled face. It seems pretty well worn as far as things go. Inside of her actual house, there's plenty of things that show like a long life of kind of being in this area, but you're gonna get as a first impression that this house is like dusty. A lot of things in this place have not been touched for a very long time. And I think everybody's got pretty good passive. Just on kind of a passive moment, you'll see that this is the type of thing that almost like immediately tells you, yeah, passive insight as well. Yeah. At very least, Etor and Longfellow are going to kind of pick up that this person is very like into their habits. They live a very like regimented life where they go in their home. There's almost like a trail through the dust. And you can kind of see signs that this is like a widow who has basically like lost somebody and has almost like stopped actually functioning on some level. You can see that like there's two seats that look at the fireplace. One of them is still well worn, and the other one is like a dusty artifact of time. They've got a small table, and you can see like one spot where a plate, a fork, and a knife are like set and like a cup, but like most of the rest of the table is covered in dust. And this is like an ongoing pattern through this little house. In general, it's basically like a one room, but she'll kind of bring you in and uh, kind of looks around the room. I don't have anywhere to welcome you, but the inn's closed. Dinev's Rest is over down by the water, first pier, but it's... Shit, did I just butcher that? Yeah, no, I said that right. Dinev's Rest has been closed for quite some time now. We don't really get travelers here. The ferries stopped running. If you head up towards the Caer, you'll see the uphill climb after the road to Konig. They might be able to house you in the tavern.
Why was the inn closed?
We don't get visitors. Nobody to stay at an inn. There's no reason to have an inn.
Why not? It's a beautiful town.
You came from outside, right? I'm not hallucinating. She's gonna poke you.
Ouch! Come on, I was trying to be civil. I think every town must have something beautiful or interesting, or else you won't be here, right?
My friend here is an eternal optimist.
Well,
Uh,
someone has to be.
you do know, and she's gonna like slowly like crane her head up towards the roof. Have you noticed that it's dark?
Sure, it's dark outside, but our hearts must be full of light, like anything else.
You're one of those kids who's in worshiping oral, huh? Yeah, keep
Uh,
smoking it up, Sonny.
I don't smoke, but I think I may try. You are a
I
very
smoke.
kind.
So, what might we call you? My name is Brannick.
I'm Hector.
And I'm Longfellow.
Hey, hello, Bob. Good to meet you, Eric and Lionel. It's a pleasure to meet you all. Ah, I'm. I don't remember.
It's no matter. I shouldn't have been so forward. Kind of Brannick, sensing that she might be there might be some like dementia going on or something like that. Um, but thank you for pointing us towards the uphill climb. Is there
She's gonna
anything?
like. She's gonna like collapse down into her seat, and she's still just kind of staring forward. I'm. You can just tell she's not even paying attention to you at that point.
So Brannick's going to glance back towards the others and kind of tilt his head towards the door.
Yeah, I'll be the
Real,
first one to slowly creep my way out.
real. She's still just kind of looking down at the floor in front of her. And then, roughly about as long as it takes you all to like get outside and close the door behind you, you hear one more like scream from her voice. Rathine! I'm Ratha! Where'd you go? Eric! Bob! Leonard!
So Brannick's
Yes.
like he's going to like open his mouth to respond and then kind of think better and just close it. And
Yeah, I don't think she's all there.
So, effectively, from her directions, you guys know that Denev's Rest is one of those two locations. Basically, she said at the first dock. And then, effectively, if you head up along the road towards Caer Konig, you know that the uphill climb is going to be that first building after you pass uh, the road to Konig and before you get to the cairn.
Yeah, I feel like if the inn's closed, we should just go to the uphill climb. I don't feel like breaking into a building we just walked into.
well, I imagine if yes, if the inn is closed, tavern may be hurting for business a little as well. And I'm sure if we offer a bit of coin, they'll find a place to put us up.
That is a good point. And they might have beer.
That would be most welcome as well.
So you all have like about like a 15 or 20 minute kind of walk like through this town square. Again, you're going to get that idea. Probably about a third of these homes at this point are abandoned, or not a third, 2/3 of these homes are abandoned. You're going to see smoke coming from the chimney of about a third of these homes. And just as there's like that slow progression, it gets a little bit steeper the further you go until eventually the houses stop, and you're going to see the slight sign of the trail that actually leads off to Caer Konig as it approaches mostly north of you. And you'll see that there's basically two more structures ahead of you. The uphill climb is the first large building. Looks very much like a home for all other purposes here, but it's probably about twice the size of like any other that you've really come across. And then you'll see some of those, probably like the first consistent sign of the castle itself. A lot of what you would have seen up to now is still kind of peeking through the snow. And as you kind of walk past the actual trail, that'll be like some of those first few times where you actually get consistent views of the cairn itself.
Okay. I feel like one of us should probably go to the climb to see if there's somewhere they can put us for the night.
Give me 1 second here. Mauricio, do you think you'll like be going and be able to make it back, or do you
No,
think you're like,
it's kind of urgent. I can't stay. I'm sorry. I have to
I
leave
got you,
early. Yeah, I won't do it if it wasn't urgent, guys. I'm sorry.
Hey, no,
I got you.
that's
No worries.
do what you have to.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yep.
Shrimp, it was a pleasure to play with you. I hope we play again next
Yeah,
session.
likewise, man.
See you guys.
Be well, Mauricio.
You good?
I hope everything works out. Otherwise, we'll see you next week.
See you guys next week. I hope everything is going to be fine. Bye, guys.
All right. Later.
So, as far as things go game wise, I had essentially intended to introduce you all to Caer Dineval. Um, we don't necessarily have a whole lot more beyond that, and potentially maybe getting you all to Caer Konig if you kind of pushed on. So I'm not necessarily saying there's a reason that we would have to quit here. If you guys are open to kind of get at least an introduction to this city, that might be the more ideal spot to stop. I think maybe pushing on into Caer Konig might be going too far, but it's kind of up to you guys. I think we
Yeah.
could probably make it to
I
either
feel like,
point.
yeah, probably just getting the lay of the town and getting a general plan.
Yeah, I imagine we'll most likely kind of head to the uphill climb, and then sort of I'm thinking like we hopefully can spend the night in here, like you should kind of maybe get a sense of what this town is like. But I think yeah, it'd be a little much trying to move on to Caer Konig.
Gotcha. Excellent. My bad. I feel like you guys like walked to it. Did anybody knock on the door? Can we pick up at that point? Is that where we were at? I'm still
Yeah,
like,
we were about to see if there was somewhere they can put us.
gotcha. So, knocking on the door, uh, you'll eventually have somebody kind of, yeah, you'll have somebody come to the door here, and they're gonna open it, and you'll hear, come in, quickly, quickly, come in," and you're just going to see a very thin, lean fellow who's got just dark hair. He's got some cold weather clothing on him, but you can actually see that he has like kind of an apron across his like midsection, and he's certainly cold with the door open. But once he kind of sees like a pause in people coming in, he'll probably go to close the door. And just for the sake of things, it's too soon. Somebody's still outside, but he didn't look. So it's like three of you are inside, and he'll go to close it right into somebody's hand, kind of thing. Oh, my apologies there. Welcome to the uphill climb. And then he'll close it behind the fourth of you. My name's Rourke. How is everybody?
Well, my name's Longfellow. Um, we just got into town. We were told by an old woman that you might know of somewhere we can stay for the night to just kind of regroup.
Oh,
And
Dinev's Rest has been closed for some time, Longfellow. Very sorry. We don't have much to offer. I have some warehouse space that I could certainly give you a place to make a bunk away from the elements.
Yeah, we would really appreciate that.
It's not much. All four of you uh, could do a couple of copper, maybe a half silver, for you all to stay.
That sounds quite fine. Thank you.
Oh, well, excellent. I can show you where you can lay your packs down, and if you need a rest now, you can certainly take it. And as you kind of like spin away from where he lets you in, his tavern is a larger place. You're going to see that there is like one great big long bar across kind of the northern side of this tavern. The actual like entrance area has a few long tables that stretch across that same area. There's a hearth at the like northwestern side, and then a hearth at the southeastern side. Like the southeastern side is close to where you entered. And there's basically a table that butts up on each end of it, and then like the central path kind of between those. Like those are the long tables. And the bar kind of extends between those 2 points, almost matched up with those long tables. And then there's like smaller tables kind of set across the walls there. And just looking through very quickly, there's nobody in this place right now. And he's just gonna walk you kind of through that central area. You might spot that the hearths are basically just there going. This place is not like well heated though. At present, it is kind of like not freezing, and that's kind of where the temperature's at. And he'll walk you off towards like the northwest, take you into kind of a back room, and just kind of an initial feel. You're gonna see that there's like a large storage area for keeping like kegs and things, and dry goods, and it's pretty empty. There's not much going on in this place. So when he says warehouse space, it's warehouse space because there's nothing like in the bar. And he's just gonna kind of show you guys off this little area, and just if you could just make sure not to disturb too much. But you can make yourselves it is as home as you can kind of find things. But please welcome yourselves. It's a pleasure to have you.
Thank you again for your hospitality. You
Yes.
wouldn't we are a bit hungry. We had a bit of trouble on the road. I don't suppose there's any you might be able to scrounge up anything to eat or drink.
I was just making a bit of a stew. I could throw in some dried knucklehead trout and some water, and we could split it between ourselves. Um, I usually eat around 5. If you would be able to wait a little bit longer, everything will be ready in a half hour, 40 minutes.
Of
Fine by
course, we
me.
don't want to rush you, and of course, we will pay for the food. Thank you again.
Uh, uh I okay. Uh, if we do like 2 copper for each for the meal. Do you have I don't have. Do you have coin? Um, I don't have. And he's just gonna kind of like lean over on some of the dry stores. I'm all out of mead, but for a pretty fine bottle of some of the 72. Uh, it's rather expensive even when times weren't so tough to get anything from Good Mead. But would you be interested? It's gonna kind of like look over you too. Um, Longfellow. Again, is kind of like a little buffer to this. When you guys are traveling in your warm winter clothes, it's very much kind of like a Arctic um um anorak, I feel like is like the name of the coat, but it's one of those things where like you are covered in like a 4-inch layer of puffy clothing that
Right.
covers you, and like your face is almost entirely covered when you walk into this place. And again, it's cold, but the wind is no longer a factor either, so like you're still in like a cold condition. How much do you pull back your clothing? Like, what do you look like right now?
Right now I tend to take the hood off and the scarf if it's fairly warm indoors. And then once I find somewhere to get settled, I'll take the winter, the cloak off.
Gotcha. So still at like a first kind of like setting, he's very hesitant to say, but he's eventually gonna kind of get it out and say, "I've got the bottle of mead, but it's a 15 silver for the bottle. Would you be interested?"
I would be interested for about 12.
It's uh,
So Brannick's going to kind of he'll look towards Longfellow, and then seeing this Rourke and seeing kind of how empty it is, and thinking maybe they can make a friend. He's going to step in and say, yeah, I know a bit of. It's been some time since I've had some good meat. 15 silver is more than fair. And he'll reach into his purse to take out the coin.
excellent, travelers. Uh, Excellent. So he'll eventually come back out, and it's a rather large bottle, kind of one of those things. It's like the size of like kind of like size of your thigh, and he'll have this big bottle. He'll bring out the 4 cups for you all, kind of set it down. Um, there's like 2 of the tables that you could sit at, or you could sit on one of the long tables. Again, the place itself is empty. You can pick a hearth if you wanted to be closer to one of the hearths, but wherever he ends up finding you when he comes back with the bottle, he'll kind of carry it, like almost cradled in his arms. Uh, uh, I'm glad that you enjoy the nicer things. This is the last of the mead that we have here. It should be quite wonderful. And he'll kind of give like 3 quick little bows, kind of as he kind of walks away from Brannick. But or as he kind of like approaches Brannick with it, and he'll like pour you all glasses, set it down on the table, and you just see like there's sentimental value to how he's approaching this bottle of mead. Um, and he'll eventually set it back, and oh, stew should be getting ready shortly here. Um, Let me go check on that, and I'll be out again in a moment.
Would you care to partake or
Uh,
join us for a meal and a drink?
Yeah, seeing that bottle, the price was more than fair.
oh, well, I be much obliged. Thank you. I'll still be a few more moments. with the stew. And yes, I'll bring a glass. Thank you.
Excellent, excellent. See you in a bit then.
So unless you guys specifically want like moments to speak while he is out, there's like certain pauses where he is like in and out of the back. But effectively he'll come back out shortly here. Um, Depending on again if the two of you want to talk amongst yourselves in privacy. Otherwise, he'll be heading back out shortly here, and you'll see kind of as he steps out, he just has like a stack of bowls. They're all just kind of like rough hewn, kind of wooden bowls, all of them slightly mismatched, but effectively you can kind of see like they're basically the same. Like harvested wood, and then they've all just been kind of hand carved, and then he'll have just a single glass kind of set up top, and then in the other hand he has a um, cast iron pot, and he's just carrying that out, lid still on it, and eventually he's going to move up to the table. He'll probably sit. Assuming you all are like facing each other, he would sit on the end. If you guys are just kind of around the actual end of the table, he'll just sit like closer to the bar next to the person who is most towards the center of the bar. But he'll set down the pot. He'll take like the bowl with the glass in it and set that in front of him. And then he's going to start to ladle out a little bit of what is essentially a very like liquidy soup. There's certainly some like potato in it. There's some like signs of like evergreen and different things kind of quote unquote spicing it, but this is basically water with a little bit of knucklehead trout. Um, and he's going to serve that to you all. Eventually, he will serve a little bit to himself. And when he goes to, um, like, he's just gonna kind of like sit there after he serves everybody and has like a little bit in his bowl, and he's just gonna pull out like his own little spoon, and he's just gonna kind of take a few moments where he's like brushing it with like the apron. And then he just gonna kind of keep sitting there, brushing his spoon for a few moments.
So Brannick he'll kind of raise his once he's got a glass of mead, he'll kind of raise it and he's going to suggest a toast to better times ahead.
Yes, and to you for hosting us for the night.
Oh, I'm mighty thankful that you've all come here. Um, oh. And he's just kind of like staring at the bottle while you've got your glasses raised, and kind of like looking between his glass and the bottle. Oh, can I? Oh,
Please, I insist.
thank you. And like as soon as you give him permission, he's just gonna pour like a little bit into his glass. He does not pour much, but he's again like this is somebody who's very kind of like coy and hesitant to do everything. He is not used to like kind of partaking with people, and he's certainly like a little bit kind of put off. Um, Again, just kind of passive wise as far as insight goes. 15 silver is a lot of money for this person. This is a very expensive bottle of wine, and you guys are treating it like it's nothing. This shows him what he's in for. Um, so he'll eventually pour like a little bit into his glass and to better times. And then he's going to whisper under his breath, in the death of Oral.
What was that?
Nothing. uh, a little bit of fizz. To better times. Oh, the soup's really good.
So Brannick's he's gonna try and kind of catch Rourke's eye and just with kind of like a little half smirk, just give it like a tiny little, try and give like a tiny little nod, but not say anything.
So just to clarify, was that you asking Shrimp, or was that Longfellow?
No, that
asking?
was the character.
Gotcha, perfect. Sometimes I wonder when I'm trying to whisper if my microphone actually picks it up. So yeah, he's gonna kind of like have his head like a little bit down, and he'll, um, where are you all traveling from? It's been many, many months since we've had travelers.
We just came from the west from 10 towns. From
Sorry, no, go ahead. I didn't want to cut you off.
oh no, go ahead.
If you're just looking for the name, it was Good Mead.
Yeah, that was the one.
But yeah, if you tell him, he'll be. You were they? Were they still making mead? I heard of their bees have been killed, and they've been shut down. Did they? Did they have mead for sale? Anything?
They have been dealing with some difficulties, as I understand it, but I believe they're still producing at least some. I had heard they'd had some difficulty in transporting it.
The ferry. Without the ferry, they can't ship it. It's no wonder they would leave us.
Yes, and how long has the ferry been out?
I uh, I think East Haven's been frozen in for most of this year, maybe 4 months, little into last year. They gave up on breaking the ice through, and without the ferry running to bring any goods to us, we've been pretty well cut off for quite some time. I think the last time Tor's been through, we were able to get some goods, but she's been most of our supply chain to have any goods coming to town.
Torm, you said.
Tor, Torga, she runs a little bit of um, a service for the people of 10 towns. Some of our smaller towns, most of our towns, don't have any sort of general stores, general goods. Trades died off for quite some time. The darkness has stopped a lot of things. But Torga, she has her traveling caravan, and they brave the tundra for us all. I've asked her for quite some time to bring mead, and I'm afraid she's not able to find it like she finds many things. And I was under the impression that Good Mead was unable to sell it. Maybe I have gotten bad information.
Well, I mean, certainly don't take my word for it. I was merely passing through there as well. My information could be incorrect. But perhaps if we come across any and happen to be passing through this way again, perhaps we could supply you ourselves.
There's without Krennic jumping in to help me, I don't think there's any way for it to do. Before the ferry comes back, I won't have anybody who's staying here. It's been too long. I can't really afford to do anything. I need the help of Krennic, and I haven't seen him for some time. He's been shut up in the cairn.
And who exactly is that?
Are you actually from Ten Towns? Are you from beyond?
I'm from further south myself.
Oh, and you came. Krennic Seaver. He's our speaker. He's. I guess he's been ill. He's in the care. It's been a while since I've seen him, but I think the cold's gotten into his bones.
And does he still see visitors if we wish to speak with him?
What does it mean to see visitors? There's people in and out pretty regularly from the cairn. But when we come there, his new guards just send us away. I think it was early in Shen that he last spoke before the people. But his illness has certainly gotten the best of him since then. It's tough times.
I have no doubt. And these new guards, when did they show up? Can you tell us anything about them?
Not much, to tell you the truth. I can't get past the gate. Nobody can really get past the gate now. I think the earliest I've heard anybody say is the last few months here. But time has been time has been weird. It's hard to keep track of things in the dark. I I feel like they've been here for months, but I don't know. I don't know if it's just the ones at the gate, if it's his doctor, if they're guards. I don't think they're from here.
Do you think something might have happened to him?
I don't know where he got his illness from, but it's definitely a weird turn of events for him to go ill and be in the cairn, and he's been locked away for some time.
Curious. Definitely curious. Braddock's gonna pour himself a second glass of mead, and he'll kind of, as he finishes pouring, he'll kind of tilt it towards Longfellow and then towards Rourke, offering a second round.
I do the same.
Yeah, you'll notice like throughout this, like Rourke is kind of like tipping his glass back into his mouth, but has not had mead for quite some time in this conversation. So when you go to offer it to him, he will most certainly take another glass.
Yes, he's welcome to it.
Yes, a bit of a splurge, but in these tough times, we must take our enjoyment where we can. And as you've said, you've been most hospitable.
That bottle was actually something my father got when he first built the place some years ago. It was a bit of a celebration. The first bottle of mead we had with the start of the business. Things were different then. So, after a few moments, just kind of staring around, you're gonna see he's kind of getting to the point where he's like fidgety. He kind of feels out of place, and just kind of like going to like ladle more soup out to you all. He's gonna end up like kind of finishing the actual um, little little pot that he's got there. Kind of like with an apology, he's gonna be like, I appreciate what you've done. It's been wonderful to sit and enjoy some mead. I hope you understand. I'm I'm gonna I'm gonna go lay down. Um, thank you. And I think you went to say Brannock, but he's basically gonna say thank you, Brannock. Thank you, Longfellow. And for what it's worth for the other guys, he'll thank everybody by name.
Yeah, Brannick was almost kind of as Rourke was telling the story about the um sort of the sentimental value of the mead. He was thinking, but he didn't end up saying anything.
Yeah, that's meant to be more like a little bit of connecting the dots. Like the reason why he had that bottle was because it was his father's purchase. That was never meant to be a bottle that got sold. But part of that story for you guys to pick up on is that this place is like cleaned out. If this were the type of world where he had to pay rent or had to pay taxes like on his home, he would lose it.
Yeah, man, points to his desperation, selling the family silver kind of thing.
Yeah, I was thinking of as like that first dollar from when you open a business. It's like that dollar that you sign and mount up on the wall behind the cash register.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So Brannick would kind of thank he would thank Rourke in turn, and then he would kind of let him go on his way.
Yeah. I think it's about time for me to finish the bowl of stew and the mead and start to get my bearings into where we're going to be staying for the night.
Yeah, so for all intents and purposes, unless you guys have anything else that you would like to cover, um, you'll hear him kind of moving around a little bit more before eventually getting kind of quiet in the back. And he's basically sleeping in like his quarters would kind of be like the opposite side of the building, where he like walks off in the back to a back door on like the south northeastern side rather of the house or of the uphill climb. and he'll kind of like eventually head off there, and it will get quiet where he goes to bed. But effectively, unless you guys want anything else from him, you can certainly like get his attention before he does go to bed. But he will eventually go to bed. You guys can go to bed, and depending on what you would like to do, whenever you are ready, you can take a long rest and wake up the next morning.
Yeah, I think Brannick would, he'd eat the stew, he'd have some mead, he'd probably save, I don't know, save some of the mead, wouldn't drink, all of it tonight, but presumably, and we would have been giving some to obviously like Luther and Etor too, so I don't know how much would actually be left. But then he
Yeah,
would,
unless you guys wanted to get like wasted, you're probably not going to finish the mead.
No,
Assuming that you had at least like 2 glasses apiece, there's probably like at least a little bit left in the bottle, pretty much regardless. But I would say that's probably something where it's like on the ends of like 30 glasses in the bottle.
okay, yeah, I think probably like the 2 glasses, and then Brannick would, probably once he was sort of found a place to kind of settle down near the in there, kind of the area that work had shown them, he would maybe spend some time kind of flipping through his book, just kind of doing um, researchy, wizardy type things. But there's not really anything else he's got planned for tonight.
yeah, no, I'm just gonna I lay down the heavy winter armor for somewhere to lay and just immediately kind of get to sleep.
So as far as things go for taking a long rest, Shrimp, in that top center portion, you'll see the little long rest as a button. That'll bring up kind of like a pop-up window on D&D Beyond. And you just want to click like the actual take long rest. And while it's doing a countdown in green, just make sure to click it again. And that will run your character through the long rest and reset everything for a new day. And I think that's probably where we're going to actually call it here. Just because if you guys decide to go to the Caer, that's a big thing. I've got it updated in your player notes that is basically that's the quest for this area. You guys kind of have that information basically to investigate Kranich Seaver. If you decide to go to Caer Konig, that'll be the next thing. So I think those are kind of the two things like directly in front of the party right now, and I think that's where we'll pick up next week.